it to him. You are mine. Hey, all day, all night. All night I will sing of your faith. Oh, this is my story. You are my song. Hey, all day, all night, all day, all night. I will sing of your faith. Oh, from my spirit to my soul, until my voice re-echoes. You are worthy of my worship, worthy of my praise. From my spirit to my soul, until my voice re-echoes. You are worthy of my worship, worthy of my praise. Ale, 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 ale. Eh, ale, ale, ale. Ale, ale, ale. Ale, ale, ale. I can see you guys jumping. Come on. Ale, ale. Ale, ale. Ale, ale. May I never lose my song. May I never lose my all. You are worthy of my worship. Worthy. May I never, 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 never. May I never lose. You are worthy. May I never, 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 never. My song, may I never lose. You are worthy. You are worthy of my worship. You are worthy of my worship. One more time. You are worthy of my worship. Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord. You can all be seated now. What a powerful way to get today started. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody that has taken out of your weekends to be here with us. Those that have joined us on Wednesday, those that came yesterday as well, and everyone that's here today. I know it's not an easy thing to let go of your Saturdays and your evenings, but thank you very much. I'm really appreciative. And to our parents that have brought their kids here today, I pray that God will continue to strengthen us. And every single word that we shall hear shall leave an impact in both the lives of us, children and youth, and our parents as well. So just before we go into what we have today, I just want to do a quick recap of what we've done the past couple of days. TJ excellently opened up on Wednesday with a question and answer session that had a lot of questions that had come from the youth and teenagers that they had been wanting to ask their parents and obviously other elders in the church as well. So it was really good. We learned about how there was a need for us to separate ourselves from the rest of the world, for us to stand out as kingdom change agents, to not be conformed to the world, but to live a life that is different and a life that is set apart. We also, yesterday obviously was fun-filled and activity-based. We had a lot of games that sort of, I hope, taught us a little about teamwork and taught us a little about the importance of being careful and being patient with ourselves. So with today, not to give away too much, what we have today majorly is the career talk, and we have our wonderful guest speaker in our midst today. So we have the career talk that we hope will help every single person, from the people deciding for what they want to do in their A-levels, to people deciding to go to uni this semester, to people who are already in a particular line of work and feel they can be getting a lot more of themselves as well. We hope that this is what that we have for us today. This is what that we have for us today will speak to every single person. So before we actually have the guest speaker, we have a video that I would like to project just to give you a taste of what's to come. That video is from someone that wanted to join us today but is not able to join us today. Basically details some parts of her life and her story and her career and the choices she has made to end up where she is today. Speaking about sort of the dynamism of what our lives are, how our paths are not one-dimensional, how there's so many different paths and so many different ways we can get to where we want to get to in life, and also the need to listen to our bodies, the need to be patient, the need to seek God in every decision that we make. And whilst we watch the video, I just want us, like, if we've got notes, we also like just scribble down a few things or note a few things in our mind, just so in case anyone has any questions afterwards as well, we will be able to sort of discuss that before we have the final speak. So technical, is the video ready? All right, V, yeah.
It is very nice to finally meet you. My name is Paula. I am 37 years old and I am Brazilian. I live in Germany for 4 years now, and I wanted to share a bit of my story with you, how I came to Germany and some decisions I took over the years on my professional career that allowed me to be here today. Firstly, I have to start with, I think that being 17 to 18 years old and having to figure it out what you want to do for the rest of your life is a crazy concept. At this age, you are still developing your tastes, your likes and dislikes. So please do seek your path, but also remember it can always change. And it can change because you wanted to change it or because life happens and different doors can open. Don't be so strict in one direction. Remember that when we miss an exit, the GPS always says recalculating route. I myself, for example, changed career paths. But let's go back to choosing your major. I didn't know what I wanted. My dad used to work in finance. My mom was a teacher. All I knew was that eventually I wanted to live abroad. So when picking up my courses, I stuck to the ones I thought could send me out of Brazil. I decided for hospitality administration. Well, there are hotels everywhere, so I can work everywhere. That sounded like a good idea. I went to university, studied those 4 years, started working when I was 18 at my second semester, which is a very common thing in Brazil. Met amazing people, ones that helped me to grow as a person, but also as a professional, and friends that were still very much present in my life today. But one thing I didn't realize when choosing this career was that hotels are indeed everywhere, but they are also open all the time. All the time. And after a while, I was tired of working 3 weekends per month, night shifts, and also not having a social life anymore. So I started thinking that maybe that office life, that 9 to 5, well, maybe that was not that bad. And there are offices everywhere. So I could also work everywhere, right? So I chose to start fresh. At 24 years old, I went to university again for 4 years. Again, this time I chose international trade, or as commonly known, logistics. Same reason or same goal, open international doors. Started an internship at 25 at the commercial department of MSC Shipping, an Italian carrier. A carrier is the company that owns all those container vessels, the big ships with all the boxes. And MSC has, it is an Italian carrier with its headquarters in Geneva, and it is today the biggest carrier in the world, the one with the yellow containers. You might have seen it. I am a fast learner, and after 4 months, I got my full-time position. I stayed for 3 years, worked hard, sometimes 10 to 12, even 14 hours a day. And please take note, this shouldn't be the norm, and consequences always come after. And after learning so much and doing so much, I had a burnout. I didn't stop when my body was alerting me that I needed to stop, so it did it for me. One day I simply blocked. My brain was tired. I overdid it so much I had to leave. For companies, we are a number, dispensable and replaceable. So always listen to what your body and your brain are telling you and make sure you set your boundaries correctly. And because I always loved traveling, I decided to recover myself and my brain in Portugal. Stayed in Lisbon for 6 months, met new people, enrolled myself in church, traveled within Portugal, rested my brain, came back home. Well, I went back home feeling good. almost ready to commit to office life again, but took me extra 6 months to actually find something. Market back then was not the greatest. CMA CGM came in and offered me the same commercial position I had in MSC. CMA is a French carrier with its headquarters in Marseille, and today is the third biggest carrier in the world. This one has the navy blue containers. When debating with myself if I should do it or not, I realized I enjoyed my time and my daily life at MSC. I didn't like the burnout, but as long as I could set the boundaries with CMA, the burnout wouldn't happen again. So I joined the company. Started the same way, same routine, but there I grew. I already knew what to do. Customers already knew me from my MSC time, and the partnership with them grew as well. Because of that, I got more responsibilities. I started with a local customer portfolio, and after some time, I started handling the global accounts. Big topics, big volumes. And doors started to open right there. International customers, regular meetings, regular follow-ups. I made my name to the international customers as I did to the local ones. Marseille, CMA headquarters, knew me, and so they offered me a position. I was grateful, but I wanted Hamburg. I didn't want Marseille, and I said no. It didn't feel right. And while I said no to Marseille, I was in contact with CMA in Germany, based in Hamburg. They said they would give me an opportunity if I would speak German. Well, I started learning, but I wouldn't be able to work in German for maybe an extra year or even 2. So I felt like leaving, starting in another company, but that didn't feel right either. So I stayed. I studied in between, and I continued to give my best to my international customers. One in particular that I had weekly meetings became close enough for us to talk about personal things. One day, I suddenly had an idea of sharing with this customer, also based in Germany, that I wanted to move to Hamburg, and that if he knew of any position, if he could let me know. Guess what? He had an open position, which he then offered to me, and I took it. 2 months later, here I was, moving to Germany. This only happened because I asked. So be bold enough to go after your dreams, study and understand your goals, plan on how to get there. But don't let the weight of the world, of life, or other people's expectations and experiences rob you from going after what you feel like is the best for you and for what you wish to become. Didn't work? Start again. Plan differently this time. Got a closed door? Knock on another. The right one will open. I only stayed in that company for 6 months, but I am in Hamburg for 4 years now. Doors open, so then other doors could open. If I haven't asked, I could still be waiting for that CMA position back in Brazil. After moving to Germany and not adapting to the job I was hired to do, I took another offer for a commercial position at Hapag-Lloyd, a German carrier with its headquarters here in Hamburg, and currently the 5th biggest carrier in the world, this one with the orange containers. And now, after being with Hapag-Lloyd for 3 years and a half, I am changing again. As from September, I start on a new company, not a carrier, but a freight forwarder, on a new role, one I've never done before. This position was offered to me directly, no application needed, by the company, which was a customer of mine during my years of CMA all those years back in Brazil. So always do your best. You never know which door can open because of the work conduct you had years ago. I hope this gives you a different perspective, one that allows you to choose your path knowing it can change if you wanted to. All the best. And if you want to reach out or get in contact with, feel free to do so. Have a good one.
So I hope everyone paid attention and quite enjoyed it. Particularly for me, and I think for most people that are here as well, a handful of things that I felt really stood out and were really, really important and probably serve as a preamble for the main talk today as well. I think just to touch on very few things before inviting Bro Lori up here, I think one of the biggest things in that video was the opportunity to try again. There was so many times she had so many jobs. She went to university multiple times. She had so many jobs. She turned down different opportunities. But one thing is, I think there's a saying that like something does not hit a moving target. Like you have to be moving to get these opportunities. If you're not constantly trying, if you're not constantly asking the right questions or asking questions at all, like building relationships, whether in career or in whatever facet of our lives, we just need, and it's the same as us being kingdom change agents, to be able to influence people. For most time, you have to like build a relationship with people, to speak to them constantly. Just need to remember that we need to foster those relationships. We need to take up our opportunities, and also we should never be afraid of change. Change is one thing that is ever present for us, whether it's time, whether it's age, relationships, situations. Change is always going to be a characteristic of our life. We should not fear it, but we should embrace it as it comes. And I hope that as we've listened, God will help us to impact every single value we've heard from that video in Jesus' name. So just inviting Brother Lori for a quick intro for our actual main speaker today.
Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. I hope you have been blessed with that little video that we just watched. Did it make sense to most of us? Did it make sense to most of us? And some of us are just looking at what are we doing. Well, for those that don't, I mean, some who are still young, it might not make sense to you. But one thing that we should pick from everything is that never take no for an answer. Can we all say that together? No for an answer. If the door is shut, always open, knock for the other door. Something's going to actually open. And also, don't be afraid to always ask. Did you hear I said? Don't be afraid to what? Always ask. The worst thing that people will say is what? Who is that? God bless you in Jesus' name. Okay. So let's moving on to the next session. So I'm just going to be introducing our speaker right now. It's really a rare privilege to have. I will say Mr., but he's also a pastor too. For all of us to be aware of, also a pastor. And one of the things you're going to learn is the fact that you can also be a kingdom change agent even in the marketplace. Did you know I said? You can always be a what? A kingdom change agent even in the marketplace. And being a pastor does not also confine you to the four walls of the church. It can also be done outside there. So that's one of the reasons why we are going to be having Pastor Shola. So I'll just give you a little bit of introduction about him, and as some of us might have known. His journey is truly inspiring. He started his career as a security guard and went on to become a global business and technology executive, holding senior leadership positions at organizations including PwC, Deliveroo, Process and Naspers, with experience spanning more than 120 countries. Today he's a board advisor, an angel investor, a startup mentor, and a leadership coach, using his experience to help businesses, leaders, and founders achieve sustainable growth. Beyond all these achievements, he's also a husband, a father of 3, and also a grandfather, which we are going to all be seeing. So a round of applause as we welcome Pastor Shola Oshinoike. A round of applause, standing ovation. With a standing ovation, let's welcome our pastor.
Thank you. All right, you may be seated. How are we all doing? Some people are fine, some people are not sure. Just the guys on the tech, I think I'm booming a bit, so if you can help me, just... All right. I was a little nervous about coming to speak to you. Are you surprised? No, you're not surprised. Why was I nervous? Because who is the youngest person in the room? How old are you? You're 9. Cool. Good that you're here. All right. Who's he? How old is he? The guy behind you. Yeah. How old are you? I'm talking to you. Yeah. How old are you? You're 9 also. Are you twins? All right. Okay. So we have 9-year-olds and above 9 also. But hopefully everybody will get a benefit from today. And why was I a bit nervous? I was nervous because I wanted to make sure that what I share with you today is relevant not just to a 9-year-old, but also to a 60-year-old or a 70-year-old. So I wanted to make sure I get the balance right. So if you can bring up my first slide. And actually, what was the name of the lady who spoke? Yeah. Paula Torres. So Paula has already set a good foundation for what I'm going to be sharing with you. And can I just share a joke with you for a second? Does anybody know Bumi Olakpa? You know Bumi Olakpa? The singer? Doesn't that guy there look like you? The Bible says. Do you know him? No, okay. Lori will send you a video of him. You'll have a look. Olakwa. Is it Bidemi? Bidemi. Yeah, you look like him. So it's just making me laugh all along. Okay. So what we're going to look at today is your life is bigger than your first job. Okay? So I will encourage you, if you have a piece of paper, take some notes, or you can use your phone to take notes, not to check your Instagram or TikTok, but to take notes, all right? Okay. And then we'll have Q&A, and there might be a prize for the person that asked the best question, maybe. Okay. What's the title of my message? Okay, only half of you said that. What's the title of my message? All right, your life is bigger than your first job. Okay, next slide. Let's play a quick game. So this will tell us who was listening. Based on this picture of me, next slide, please. Okay, based on this picture of me, if you saw this picture, what job would you say I do? Pardon? Preacher. What? Yes. Business. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. Engineering. Wow, that's a new one. I've not got that one before. Anybody else want to guess? Pardon? Professor. Thank you. Not one yet, but maybe later. If you press clip, just go to the next thing. Actually, no, stay back. Go back. Was it built? Have it built? Yeah. So you can see that my career has actually spanned many different things, from security guard to consultant to global technology leader, entrepreneur, investor, author, mentor, speaker. And I'm going to tell, author. Who said that? Wow. Somebody said, who said wow? Who? You said wow at author. Why did you say wow? Oh, you didn't say wow. Okay. You could have gotten a prize just then if you owned up to it. Okay. Are you following me? So let's do next slide. This will tell us who's been listening. 2 truths and a lie. I have worked as a security guard. I have worked with global companies across multiple countries. Or I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I was 16 years old. I love the energy. Who is confident about their answer? The guy in the black at the back, yeah. What does he say? Correct. Give him a round of applause. Next slide. I didn't have the master plan. You're right. I didn't have the master plan when I was 16 years old. I didn't know what I was going to be. Who's 16 in the room? Okay, a few people. So at 16, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I did have one thing. I was willing to learn. Are you listening to me? I was willing to learn. I was willing to work hard. I was willing to take opportunities. And I was willing to trust God. Now, let me ask you a question. Does anybody here like working hard? Okay. No? But I'm going to tell you the truth. You're going to have to learn to work hard. Because the truth of the matter is that work is hard, right? But there's a saying that says this: if you find something that you really enjoy, you will never work a day in your life. Have you heard that before? If you're doing something that you really enjoy, somebody shout out what they really enjoy. Pardon? Football, music. All right. So when you're playing football, does it feel like hard work? It depends, right? Okay. And so that's a good point. So even if it's something that you really love, it can also still be hard work. And so if you're going to learn, I want you to learn a lot of things from me today. But if you're taking notes, write down, work can be hard, but I have the grace of God to do hard work. Right? Can you write that down? Work can be hard, but I have the grace of God to do hard work. Right? Have you noted that down? If you're on Twitter, you can tweet it, right? Work can be hard, but I have the grace of God to do hard work. So the footballer in the room, tell me, who's your favorite footballer? No. It's him. He put his hand up. Okay, but yeah, who's your favorite footballer? Pardon? I couldn't hear you. Say it louder. Who does he play for? Oh, PSG. Okay, you're outside the UK. What about in the UK? Yeah, tell me. Haaland. Okay. You've seen how many goals Haaland scores, right? Do you think it's easy to score those goals? Hands up. Do you think it's easy to score those goals? It's hard work, right? And so Haaland has to work hard. If you want to be like him, you got to learn how to work hard. All right? Are we good? Okay. Next slide. The next slide is very busy. And hopefully you can't even see it from where you are, most of you. But I'm just going to tell you a quick story of my career, just like the lady Paula did. I won't cover everything, but I want to raise some key points along the way. All right? And it's important that you listen because there might be a quiz afterwards. There might be. All right. So the first thing is I studied civil engineering. So the guy in the green, what's your name? No, behind. Yeah. Yeah, you. Yeah. Yeah, what's your name? You said I was a professor, right? Yeah, you thought. Maybe one day. And then somebody said I did engineering. Who said I did engineering? You did. What's your name? Fade. Okay, you're right. So my university degree is I went to a university in Nigeria called Obafemi Awolowo University, and I studied civil engineering. All right? And when I finished studying civil engineering, my passion was working in books or writing books. And so I went to work as an editor, a magazine editor. And then after that, I went to do my National Youth Service. Has anybody heard of National Youth Service in Nigeria? Some people have. I think all of you should go back to Nigeria and do your National Youth Service. Joke. All right. And so I did my National Youth Service in a place in Nigeria called Delta State. I worked there for a year as an engineer, building roads, building houses. And when I finished, okay, I'm not getting the full attention. There's a lot of chatting. All right. I don't want to do quiz. I would have said, what did I say last? Who remember what I said last? Pardon? Yes, ma'am. Pardon? What did I say last? Yes. Okay. So I worked as an engineer in Delta State. And then at the time, my fiance, who is now my wife, that some of you might get to meet today, she moved to the UK. I must say, though, I was born in London. But when I was 8 years old, my parents moved back to Nigeria. And so I grew up in Nigeria, but I'm a British citizen. And so my fiance, who is now my wife of over 32 years, I thought I'd get a round of applause. Right? And so today I'm a father of three. I have three grown children. My son, Olu, will be here later with his son. So I'm a grandfather, actually. And my two daughters, thank you. And my two daughters, my oldest daughter, Olamide, she finished from University of Bristol. She studied events management and business. She now works at the Bristol Hotel. And then my youngest daughter graduated with a first class from University of Bath, and she studied educational psychology. So I'm talking to you today not just as a career person, but as a father who has seen his children grow up. And I know the world we live in is challenging and difficult, but like I said before, by the grace of God, we can do hard work, right? To get 7 straight A's, no matter how genius you are, requires hard work. To be the top footballer in your school requires hard work. And the question is, listen to me today, it's not random. And maybe in 10 years' time, you won't remember everything I've said, but you might remember this one thing, that to make it great in life, you need to be able to do hard work. But hard work, by the grace of God, is what's important. So by the grace of God, my fiance, who I've told you already about her, moved to the UK, so I followed her. When I got to the UK, there were no engineering jobs. And so the only job my hand could find to do was to work as a security guard. So I worked 18-hour shifts in Manchester. Start work at 6 a.m., and then you finish at midnight, right? Like that, 18-hour shifts. And while I was working an 18-hour shift, after 2 years of working as a security guard, I looked up on a notice board. They said, looking for graduates who were black graduates, opportunity in the University of Manchester. I was like, I am black. I'm a university graduate. I qualify. And so I wrote down, back then, you had to write your application out on a piece of paper. So I wrote out my application, and when I finished writing it, I asked myself, I know many people are going to apply for this job. How will I stand out and be different from everybody else? And so I wrote in the others box, I wrote, I will give you 101% commitment. So my application went in. My deputy director at the time, John Wilson, saw my application. I was like, who is this boy? I will interview this boy myself. And so there we are in the interview. He came in and said, I'm reading your application. You said you would give us 101% commitment. What is that? I said, sir, I will go over and above. He said, okay. What have you been doing for the last 18 months of your life? I've been working in security. I said, okay, I'm going to change this interview. It's not going to be about what I was supposed to ask you. I'm going to ask you questions about security. How will you secure the University of Manchester? And depending on how you answer that question, you either get the job or not. And so I began to answer the question. I'm sure I linked a lot of stuff that I've read, James Bond, Mission Impossible, Captain America. But by the time I finished and the guy was standing up to go, he said, you gave me 5 things to do. On Monday, we're going to do 2 of them. The remaining 3, I will talk to my team. But the good news is you have the job. And the lesson here is whatever you find yourself doing, it might not be what you ultimately want to be, give it your best. Particularly those of you that are looking to go to university. Then we're going to ask you, what clubs are you part of? Which hobbies do you have? those things are going to make you look different from everybody else. No matter how much you grew up with the same parents, or you grew up in the same house, or you grew up in the same church, you will have different hobbies. And that's what you need when you make your applications for a job. That's what you need when you make an application for a university, for you to stand out and be different. You understand that? Yes, sir. Is that helpful? Yes, sir. All right. So I worked as a security guard. Then I got a job at the University of Manchester. And guess what? It was a 1-year program. At the end of the 1 year, my boss came to me. You have worked so well, so hard. We're supposed to let you go, but we don't want to let you go. We like you, but we don't have a job for you. Why don't you create a job for yourself? Whatever you want to do, create a job. So I had to sit down, created a job for myself. I called it the technical clerk because I wanted to bring the technical experience and the business experience together. So I defined a job, defined a salary, defined everything, and then 25 other people applied. Thank God I got the job. But that job gave me an opportunity to decide what my career was going to be. I studied civil engineering, but there were no engineering jobs in the UK. My dad was an accountant, so I didn't want to go down that line because I didn't want to go and compete with him. And so the idea of IT opened up. And that's how I became a programmer. I went down that path, and I started teaching myself how to program. I didn't do it in college. I didn't do it anywhere. I just taught myself at home, bit by bit, teaching myself, to the extent that after 2 years of working at the University of Manchester, I'd become such an expert at programming that I was able to apply to the College of Law as an analyst programmer. Now, here's the interesting thing. And I will probably stop this story now because it's a long story of 30-something years. But I want to kind of give you some elements that you can hold on to. So when I went for the interview at the College of Law, I can talk. You can say I'm talking, right? So by the time I did my first interviews, they were like, we love you. How much do you want us to pay you? We'll relocate you from Manchester to Guildford. You're a great fit. But there is one small thing you have to do. You have to do a technical test. This technical test was really technical. Remember, I taught myself how to program. So I went into the exam to do this technical test. There were 10 questions. I looked at the 10 questions. I knew 0. 0, honestly. I looked at the question. I didn't even understand the questions. Because the way I taught myself was different from the way they asked the questions. Anybody done any programming here? A little bit, okay. It's a bit like if you're looking at Java code, but you've only learned Access database, right? So completely different. And then my boss, who became my boss later, and Chris Harris, the guy was in interview, said, oh, you impressed us at the interview. How are you doing with the test? I said, sir, I can't answer any question. Then he got a whiteboard, took the first question, explained it to me. How would you do it if you were in Access? And I said, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. I said, okay, question 1 is asking you to do that. So I got it, answered question 1. Question 2, he helped me. Question 3. Then he said, after the 6th question, he said, okay, 6 out of 10 will get you the job. So I got 6 out of 10 because he helped me answer the questions. 2 weeks before I started the job, he called me to travel down. He said, let me take you for a walk. So he took me for a walk. He said, you know, after you left, we interviewed 7 more people. All of them, without my help, got 9 out of 10. You, with my help, you got 6. Are you sure I have hired the right person? I said, sir, I will give you 101% commitment. And to tell you, to the glory of God, I honestly joined the College of Law as the worst programmer they had ever hired. But 2 years later, when I was leaving, they said I was the best programmer they ever let go. To the extent that in my exit interview, my boss's boss said, we don't want you to leave. How much are they paying you? We will match it. In fact, I will go to the board of directors and ask them to even pay you more than they were going to pay you just for you to stay. All right? Are you listening to me? Are you learning something here? And so your ability to show that you can learn and do hard work is what opens doors for you. I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for the fact that I was willing to do the hard work. Of course, by the grace of God. It was the grace of God that day, Chris was the one that came into my room. If it was somebody else, even if it was me, I think I would have just said, you don't know anything, get out, right? But the grace of God was upon my life, and Chris was able to assist me to get enough to pass the interview. And, today, I not only have I taught programming, helped people, I've been published in papers, but I taught myself and opened doors for me. Now, I could tell you so much more about my career, but we don't have time. The key point I want you to get from this is where I started is not where I've ended, right? And I'll come back to some of it later. So let's jump. So the big question, next slide. The big question really is not about me. It's about you. Turn to your neighbor, say the question is about you. Who are you? I'm not asking you what job do you do. I'm not asking you what salary you have. I'm not asking you which school you go to. And honestly, I am not asking you how many followers you have. What I am asking you is, who are you becoming? All right? Ask your neighbor, who are you becoming? Maybe more important than that, next slide. Maybe more important than who are you becoming is this question. What does God say about you? Who are you? Who are you becoming? And what does God say about you? Let me read you some passages. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12. Let no one look down on you because of your youth, but be an example. Set a pattern for believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, in moral purity. Daniel chapter 1, verse 7, the Bible says this, as for these young men, and women you're also included, but this story is really about men, God gave them knowledge, skill in all kinds of literature and wisdom. Daniel also understood all kinds of visions and dreams. All right? That's what God says about you. You can be filled with all knowledge, all wisdom, all understanding. Maybe the next mayor of Bristol is in this room. Maybe the next president of Nigeria is in this room. Maybe the next prime minister of the UK is in this room. I don't know. You don't know who you can become. Right? When I was 16 years old, let me digress a second, because it's easy for you to see me now and look at me, oh, look at him, he's successful. When I was 15 years old, I was a thief. Right? My mom took me to prison one day and said, if you don't stop stealing, this is where your life is going to end. It wasn't UK prison, it was Nigerian prison. Right? But I remember vividly at the age of 15, I don't know why I'm telling you this story, I just feel led of God to tell you this story. At the age of 15, I was on a bus in Lagos, what you call a molue. And I was sitting next to a guy who had some money in his pocket. And I watched him, and then when he fell asleep, I put my hand in his pocket to steal the money. As I was about to steal the money, he grabbed a hold of my hand. He looked me in the eye, and he said to me, you know, if I shout thief now, they would take a tire and dazzle you with petrol, and you will burn to death. I was 15 years old. But he looked at me and he said, you look like a person that's going to have a life of destiny. So I'm going to let you go. but don't steal anymore. True story. And the reality that when I got off that bus, I just wanted to die. Like, even though you had just saved me from death, I just wanted to die. And I was so confused with my life that, oh my gosh, I could have just died. Maybe I'm not worth anything. Maybe I should just die. I closed my eyes and I said, God, if you still think I'm worth it, save me from this habit and even save my life. Now, what I'm about to tell you, don't do it, don't try it. But I'm telling you. So I closed my eyes and I crossed the road. I said, well, if my life is worth anything, then God will save me. And he did. And I'm here today because God saves me. Why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story because you can become anything you choose to be, but it is a choice. People will say, oh, they made me do it. No. It's a choice. And my question to you today is, what choices are you willing to make? We're spending about 90 minutes. I'm going to be talking to you for about another, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes or so. What are you learning? What are you grasping? What are you becoming? Right? That's the question I ask you. Who are you becoming and who does God say you are? Next slide. Okay. All of us in this room are gifted. Tell your neighbor you're gifted. You might be a thinker. You might be a creator. You might be a communicator. You might be a people person. You might be a great footballer. You might be a problem solver. You might be a numbers person like my dad. My dad can do mental math. How many people can do mental math? Right? Okay, who said they can do mental math? Good. Some people are just idea generators. Some people are leaders. Some people are helpers. Some people are finishers. The question is, who are you? And what do people always ask you to do? What do people always tell your neighbor? What do people always ask you to do? Because sometimes these things are clues to who you are. Next slide. You've gone too far. Just back up. Yeah, the clues. Okay. So your gifts are clues. What do you enjoy doing? And please do not say sleeping. All right. What do people need from you? What problems can you solve? Because the problems you can solve is a indication of maybe where your career should be. Your gifts may not be obvious, but maybe your neighbor, your friend sitting next to you now would say, oh, you're very good at helping people. Like, if I was continuing my career story, I worked for the College of Law, then I went to work for the University of Manchester. While I was at the University of Manchester, I went to work for the University of Manchester and I went for the College of Law. Then after I left the College of Law, I went to work for a company called GlaxoSmithKline as a programmer. And then one day, my colleague, Louis, he said to me, Shola, you like helping people. Maybe you should go into HR. I had never thought of it. But actually, I've spent the last 25 years working in human resources because a friend of mine said to me, you like people, you like helping people, maybe you should be in human resources. And so I spent the last 25 years of my life, even though I studied civil engineering back there, working as a human resource technologist. And so the key is that sometimes it might not be obvious to you. Sometimes you need your mom, your dad, your friend, your brother, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, your pastor, your youth leader to give you ideas as to where you should be going. Romans 12 verse 6 says this, we have different gifts according to the grace given to us, to each of us. So I'm asking you today, what clues are telling you who you should become? Right? We're going to talk more about that in a second. But let me just take a pause. Yeah. Let me take a pause. Does anybody have any questions so far? Any questions? Because I can talk forever, but I want to make sure. Well, there'll be a big question and answer at the end, but Does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir. You need a mic. Come to my mic.
Did your parents help you or encourage you in any way while you're trying to find a job?
Did my parents help me when I was trying to find a job? Well, I would say my parents did. My mom has always been a supportive, prayerful person. My mom, because of the time she grew up, she only finished primary school. She didn't do anything else. And so most of her life, she's been a businesswoman. But my dad's a qualified accountant, and both of them have been very encouraging on my pathway. But I wish my son was here now, but I think they're on the way. Laurie, can you just check on them? But I think I can flip the question and say, was I helpful to my son and his wife when they were looking for a job? And yeah, we did. We supported them. We jumped on Zoom calls. We helped them with applications. So I think parental support is very, very important, and it works both ways. Any other question? Thank you for your question, by the way. Yes. Is that a question or? Yes, go ahead. At a young age, yes?
Use the microphone, please.
You might have to come to me.
Hello, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
we can hear you, yeah.
Young age, while you are still finding out, okay, what you're going to become or what you're going to do. When you wake up in the morning, what's your why? And what's your why? What's that thing that motivates you? I'm just saying that because of these young ones. Because if you look at it these days, it's God that is helping them, games, everything all around. What is your why? Maybe something.
So that's a good question, but I'm going to not answer that question now because the next 6 or 7 slides are going to talk to that. All right. But you asked a good question. But maybe let me just kind of leave it. Who likes reading books here? Some people. All right. I'm going to tell you something. Listen to this again. Oh. Listen to me very well. Are you listening? You're not all listening. If I need a call and response, listen to this very well. You say yes, sir, or whatever you want to say. Listen to this very well. All right. There is a statement that says this. If you want to hide something from a person, particularly an African man, hide it where? Uh-huh. So, Dr. Seuss, does anybody know who Dr. Seuss is? All right. Dr. Seuss says this. The more you read, the more you would know. The more you know, the more places you will go. So reading is essential. So he asked the question, your why, right? Normally when I'm doing career coaching, I'll tell the people to go and buy a book called Understand Your Why by Simon Sinek. Why do you wake up? What is your purpose? What is your intention? But we're going to touch on that in a second. Let me see if there's any more last questions, then we move on. But sir, we'll get to your question. Yes, sir. What if somebody feels that they're not good at anything? Now, here's a truth. You want to hear truth? Okay, only one person. Do you want to hear truth? You guys are a hard crowd, though. Okay, here's the truth. Every person is good at something. Right? It's the truth. Now, you might not know what you're good at. Right? I was 16 years old. No, I think I was 17 before I learned how to ride a bicycle. Yeah, I was 17 years old. Started driving when I was 19, but the first time I rode a bicycle was I was 17 years old. I was in university already. And it's because a 13-year-old kid showed me how to ride a bicycle. Up until that point, if anybody said to me, can you ride a bicycle? My answer would be no, because I thought I wasn't good at it. You see, sometimes what happens in life is you think you're not good at something because you haven't had the opportunity to try it. And so, to your question, what if you're not good at something? Everybody is good at something. Everybody has been designed to be good at something. When I say I show speed, right? How many people? Some people are laughing, right? What is he good at? Pardon? Streaming? I'm barking. Right? But I Show Stream didn't start off being a very popular, influential person. He just did what he enjoyed doing, and then the whole world joined in on that journey. Right? And so, if you can just be true to yourself and be honest to yourself, you will find something inside of yourself that you feel good at. And guess what? If you're doing what you're good at, eventually it will come out. Let me tell you more stories, right? Let's go to the next slide. One more. All right. First of all, let me check. Are you finding this helpful? All right, good. Or else I'll just stop now, go home. All right. Don't you, yes, you have a question. Uh-huh. No, it's okay.
I can see this is like a directional slide.
Yeah.
Most of us here are immigrants.
Yes.
And we know the restrictions around job opportunities for immigrants.
Yeah.
And our children back home that saw us do like professional jobs before we came here, seeing us do the kind of jobs we do, I think it tends to like affect them psychologically,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. And it limits their opportunities in the things they do. Some of them aspire to do better than they are doing now, but because of those restrictions, I know you understand what I mean
Yeah.
by those restrictions. They can't actually go into what they want to do. How do we, as parents, encourage them? Or even, where are those salient opportunities that we can direct them to make them better than them?
All right. It's a really good question. Actually, a deep question. So let me try and address that question. But I will say this. I will focus my answer to help the young people. Maybe in another session we can do something for the adults, right? Because I don't want to overtly answer it for that answer. Now, here's the reality. Right now, every one of us are standing in opportunity. We're in opportunity. Right? We're in opportunity. Whether your parents came on a sponsored care visa, all they've done for you is create an opportunity. The question is, how do I handle the opportunity that's been given to me? Because there's an element of limitation that is upon the parents because of the visa they've come on. But guess what? There's no limitation on the children. No. Well, not if they're over 18.
Not even if they're over 18. For some of them, like I've got a son now.
Yeah.
I like sports. He plays football. But on every visa for immigrants, it says no professional sports person. So it limits how far they can go.
Yeah. Well, as I said, your question is very deep because, but I want to be careful that I don't overtly change the direction. Now, again, let's take that example that you gave, right? What's this guy's name that played for England that everybody said he shouldn't have gone to England but scored a goal? Pardon? Nigerian guy. Not Saka, the other guy. Pardon? Bellingham. Thank you, Bellingham. Right. So, yeah. What do you call it? See, when I talk about football, everybody starts talking. All right. So when you look at that guy, what did they say to him? He shouldn't have gone. But what happened? When the opportunity was presented to him, things change. Now, we are Christians, so I want to add a Christian element to it. If I tell you that I went to an exam room and I got 0 in the exam, what hope do I have? Nothing. But somehow I went into an exam and I knew 0. And guess what? I got the job. What I'm saying is, and I can tell you story after story. My wife finished from Liverpool University, did a master's, got a distinction in her MBA. Northwest Water wanted to hire her, but she didn't have the visa. She did not have the visa. But her boss said, we are not going to take that contract unless my wife was in the contract. So he now mandated a research assistant to go and find a visa for her. It took them 4 months. Full-time job to find this woman a visa because we cannot start this project without her. She worked September, October, November, no money, no salary, because they couldn't officially pay her. But guess what? On the 1st of December, her visa appeared. I'm just saying that if we teach our children to be good at what they do and to be very good at it, guess what's going to happen? They are going to find opportunities that are impossible. This is a true story. My wife, well, like at one point I was like, darling, do you think they're going to get... The boss told the guy, don't come back to the office. Don't do anything else until you find a visa for this person. So my point is, we have to put an element of faith in it. Because if we put an element of faith in it, guess what happens? The impossible becomes possible. Right? I will say to you that, do you think it makes sense for a foreigner to enter a country and become the prime minister of that country? Who said yes? By faith, all right? So it didn't make sense, but guess what? Daniel became the prime minister of a foreign country. How did he do it? Opportunity, grace of God. And so let's not limit our opportunities by the papers that we have in front of us. Let's encourage our children to dream big, to dream outside the box, and to look beyond what they've got. I might be limited, right? But it doesn't mean my children have to be limited. I bought my first house when I was 36. My son bought his first house when he was 25. And our prayer is that my grandson will buy his house even younger, right? And so you can only create opportunities. You can't focus on the limitations. So to children who you might look around yourself and say, I'm not impressed with my dad, I'm not impressed with your mom. Doesn't really matter whether you're impressed or not. They're your mom or your dad. What you should learn to do, though, is not limit yourself to them, right? My dad would say I'm doing greater than he did, but that's just by the grace of God. And we all can do greater than the things that have gone before us. But I guess as parents, let me speak to parents also. Parents, encourage your children to explore opportunities. All right? Explore opportunities. Okay, now, let's go. Second part. I don't even know. Well, Hilary will come and tell me how much time I have left. Okay. Don't choose a career because everyone else is doing it. Let me ask, just shout out. What careers do people want to do in this room? Just shout out. I want to be a doctor. Just say, what do you want to be? Football. Okay. Yeah. Soccer, internet. Yeah. Anybody else? Basketballing. Okay. You have to be taller. I'm not hearing doctor. I'm not hearing nurse. I'm only hearing influencer, footballer, real estate. Who said, what did you say? Choreographer. Who said streamer? I show speed. Get out of your head. Yeah, he said stream. Now, look, let me tell you this, right? Listen to this. Don't become a doctor because your parents tell you to. Don't become a doctor because your friends tell you to. Find out what you're good at, right? We'll talk about money in a second, right? Don't become a lawyer because it sounds impressive. What do you do? I'm a lawyer. Don't become a programmer because everyone else is saying AI is the future. Don't become an influencer because you want to become iShow Speed. Don't become an entrepreneur because you hate having a boss. Really ask this question. What problem do you want to solve? Yeah, what you put your hand up. Entrepreneur. Okay, a business person. Thank you. Thank you for asking the question. So somebody who runs a business. An entrepreneur is somebody who runs an enterprise. Enterprise is business. So an entrepreneur is somebody who runs an enterprise. My point is, don't do something because everybody else is doing it. Think about what problems can I solve. Now, somebody said I want to be a streamer. Okay, what do you want to stream? I'm listening. Pardon? Games. Now, question for you. We're just gonna have a quick conversation. Are you good at gaming? How good are you? Decent, right? So here's the challenge. Remember what I said at the beginning? Work is hard. To be a decent streamer, you have to be somebody that is good at what you think. If iShow Speed wasn't good at what he did, would you be watching him? No. And so we shouldn't just think of the glamour of a role. We should think about what does it take to get to that glamour. David Beckham. Does anybody know David Beckham, or you're too young? Right? Bend it like Beckham. Right? David Beckham, at his high age, when he was very good, he would shoot a ball every morning 99 times. 99 times. Right? 99 times every morning. 1, 2, 3. And he has to hit the corner. And if he doesn't, he starts again. Right? And that's my son and my grandson and my wife. Laurie, please, you have to give me a time check because we've gone all over the place. I just want to know how much time I have left. So the point I'm trying to make here is, even if you want to become a streamer, hello, sir. All right? Even if you want to become a streamer, are you willing to put the hard work in that it takes? If you want to be a good doctor, it's going to take you hard work. If you want to be a good teacher, it's going to take you hard work. And like I said before, the key thing for you to know is work is hard, but by the grace of God, you can do hard work. All right? By the grace of God, you can do hard work. And that is why, how many of you noticed something about the World Cup this year? How many times did we see teams praying? Even when they lost, they were praying. Pardon? Cynical. What does that mean? Senegal. Okay, Senegal. All right. So Senegal were praying. My point is, even in the world of football, and if you watch iShow stream very, very closely, he prays and asks God for help. And so ultimately, to become anything in this life, you need the help of God. The question is, do you know how to access God's help? Because if you don't know how to access God's help, you can dream of becoming whatever you want to become. It might not be possible. But if you know how to access God's help, it changes everything. All right. So don't choose a career because everybody else is doing it. Choose it because that is where God is leading you. Your first job does not have to define who you become. Next slide. I started out as a security guard. I studied civil engineering. I built a career in technology. I became a global leader. I've worked in over 60 countries, supported over 120 countries. right? I've been an entrepreneur. I've been an investor. I'm an author. You can pick up my books. But I didn't know that at 16. That's what I was going to be. But I was willing to work hard, right? And if you're willing to work hard, opportunities become endless. So don't despise a day like this, right? This is not common. What is happening right now? What is happening right now is not common. Not many churches would put time aside. Let me help you understand what's happening right now. It costs money for the lights to be switched on. It's not zero cost. It costs money for this building to be occupied. It costs money to bring in refreshments. It costs money for this weekend to be put together because somebody believes in your future. My question is, do you believe in yours? Right? And so don't despise the day of small beginnings because you don't know what God is going to do. Every season can prepare you for your next season. Right? And I will keep referring to you, Auntie. You asked the question, but again, we always ask questions because we are human. We ask questions in our limitation. When I was studying in Ife, if somebody told me that I'll be standing on a platform in your church, sir, in Bristol, I would have said, how? How can these things be? Right? And so what we are going to become, we don't know what it's going to be. But what we do know is that if we can trust God, opportunities will come. Right? And let me just talk to the color issue for a second. I've been in rooms where I'm the only black person. It doesn't matter. Just do your best. Be your best. And guess what? People will recognize you for the work you do, not for the color of your skin. I know it's very hard to hear that because the reality is that our minds are conditioned the other way around. Because I'm black, because I'm black, because I'm black. I'll tell you a story. There was one time I was working in South Africa, and a friend of mine went to stay in a hotel, and he invited me to come and stay there. Well, I told him to stay in the same hotel I stayed in because my boss would normally stay there. My boss was white. When he got there, the very first night, he called me and said, I can't stay here. I said, why? He said, there's only white people here. Only black people work here, and white people are the guests. I've been staying in that hotel maybe 10 times. I didn't see the color. I'd gotten so used to being in a room where I'm the only black person that I didn't see color. I'm not saying you shouldn't see color. I'm just saying that don't let color determine how you walk into a room. Let your excellence, your diligence, your hard work, let it determine how you walk into a room. All right. How many minutes do I have left? By 3. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me just go to the next slide. I'll just move very fast because we digressed a lot, covered a lot of things. 5 things I wish I knew at your age. Number 1, learn before you earn. Learn before you earn. What does it take? Let's just stick with footballer. What does it take to be a premier footballer in this country? Hard work. You have to work hard. Number 2, reputation is more important than any currency. Your reputation is more important than any currency. Relationships matter. Who you know gets you into the room. Failure is not the end. I promise you, you will fail along the way. It's not a prayer point. You cannot fast and pray against failure. You can try, but you will still fail. Right? Because success is just the fact that you had learned a way not to fail. You don't need to have everything figured out. You can learn it piece by piece. Next slide. Colossians 3:23-24, probably the most important verse I'm going to read today. Whatever you do, whatever your task may be, work from the soul. That is, put in your very best effort. Have something done for the Lord and not for men. Knowing this, knowing with all certainty that it is from the Lord, not from men, that your reward will come. You will receive the inheritance, which is your greatest reward. Is the Lord Jesus Christ, the Lord Christ, whom you actually serve. And so here's an interesting thing that I learned a long time ago. I want to give it to you for free, as they say. I realized that my boss was not white. My boss was not black. My boss was not brown. My ultimate boss is Jehovah. And everybody else that you see are just representing him. So ultimately, I work for God. I'm not working for a white boss. I'm not working for a black boss. I'm not working for Cadbury. I'm not working for PwC. Ultimately, no matter where I work, I'm going to work for God. And if I work for God, guess what? I'm going to do my best work. I'm not going to do half work. Like some of us do half work because, okay, it's all right. It's all right. Some of us do half work because we think, oh, I'm not going to work for that person because he's a bad person. But if you ultimately think that God is your boss, it is God that you're working for, it is God that you're answerable to. Whether you're a programmer, a streamer, whether you are a footballer, you're not playing for Manchester United, you're not playing for Arsenal, you're not playing for Chelsea, you're ultimately playing for God. Because if God takes your breath away, guess what? He ain't gonna play. You ain't gonna play. Right? And so at this young age, it's good for us to really understand, to the question that was asked earlier, understand your why. Why do you exist? You exist because God allowed you to be here on earth. If God decides that tomorrow is enough, it's one way to get to, unless you are Lazarus. You know what happened to Lazarus? He died and he woke up. He had a return ticket. But most of us, we only have one way to get. And so the question is, what are you going to do with your life? Because some of us, and let's be honest here, some of us think that our lives are going to be what our parents think they're going to be. Some of us think that our life is going to be what our friends say it's going to be. Ultimately, it's God that determines it. But also you. What do you want your life to be? Right? You could be 9 years old. You could be 80 years old. Doesn't matter. You just have to decide, what do you want your life to be? All right. So Colossians says, whatever you find yourself doing, whether it's volunteering, whether it's full-time work, whether it's in the house of God, whether it's outside the house of God, whatever you find yourself doing, do it not to men, but do it to God. Okay, quick quiz. Next slide. All right, you ready? What would you choose? All right, number one, 1 million salary, but you hate your job. Number two, B, 50,000 pounds, but you love your work. C, 0 salary, but you're building something you believe in. Number four, 200,000 salary, but your work has no meaning. All right, talk to your neighbor. Which one will you choose? All right, so does anybody want to tell me what they chose? Yeah. Yeah. What did you choose? A, 1 million salary, but you hate your job. Okay. Anybody else? There's no right answer, by the way. Let's go to the man at the back with his hand way high. Yeah. Take the mic to him. There, over there. Let him answer, then I'll come back to the front. I want to get a different perspective.
Hello.
Hello.
I was gonna say B.
B,
B
yeah.
is technically C.
Yeah.
Because you're building something you believe in, And that's also saying, but you love your work. So you love your work is building something that you believe in, because it would be doing, it's almost like synonymous with each other.
All right. Thank you. That's a good answer. All right. One more. This guy put his hand up. And then we have a lady answer also. We have my striker. Are you a striker or a defender? Pardon? Left winger. Okay, my left winger. Go on.
Realistically, I would choose like B as well because at least
Listen.
you would have probably like somewhere to start with. That wouldn't probably be like your end product. Like
Yeah.
for now, 50K is really good.
All right. Good. Thank you. The lady over there, and then everybody don't wake up. Down like money is involved. So 3 things wake you guys up. Number 1, football. Number 2, money. Number 3, I show speed. Okay.
Realistic.
Yeah, realistically.
And they said, oh, one.
Sorry, what do you say?
I said,
Yeah.
like an adult. If they said, oh, 1 million salary or 500,000, you would
Yeah. You choose the 1 million, but there's something bigger than the numbers, right? And we don't have time to play this game longer. I would have loved to even break you into groups and really talk about it, but maybe something you can do another time. Look at what I'm going to say next. If you just click the slide, something will happen. Yeah, at the bottom, look at this. It says this. Listen to me very carefully. What if God has given you a gift that can create significant value in the marketplace? Would you choose purpose over money? Or would you find a way to pursue both? Next slide. The ultimate goal should not be to choose between purpose and prosperity. It should be to discover how your God-given gifts can create value, serve people, generate prosperity without losing your soul. That's a deep statement, I know, but hopefully you will understand. Let me read again. It should be to discover how your God-given gifts can create value, serve people, generate prosperity without losing your soul. Right, next slide. Success versus significance. Success is really about what you achieve, what you earn, what you own, where you work, how many followers you have. But actually, as Christians, we shouldn't focus just on success. We will be successful, but God wants us to think about significance. Who can you help? What can you build? Like the man said at the back, if you can find something that you're doing that will help others, who are you developing? Even at 9, you can be mentoring somebody. And what are you leaving behind? Your goal is not just to be successful. That's important, but it's not the most important thing. Your goal is to be significant. Money doesn't open every door, but significance does. If Prince Charles enters this room now, it doesn't matter how much money he has, whether he's the richest man in the country or not, his significance, his level, his role demands that all of us pay him homage. Because that's what he was born into. But guess what? You're royal too. You were born into a royal family. God calls you king and priest. The question is, do you recognize that? Do you see yourself as a king, as a priest? Or do you see yourself as somebody that doesn't have anything? We had a question earlier, what if I'm not good at anything? Well, just be good at what you were born to be, a king and a priest. Somebody who has God. It says, the Bible says that even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. My rod and my staff. Sorry, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And so We're all born significant. It's whether we want to take on that badge. Next slide. And we're coming to the end of this session and we can go into Q&A. And then maybe if we have time later, we can do a few more slides. So your career compass, 4 questions. What am I good at? What do I enjoy? What problems can I solve? And how can I use my gifts to serve God and others? Your career is not just about making a living. It's about making a contribution. And I'm just going to stick with your friend, I Show Speed, right? Because I'm just going to keep coming back to it. He's making a living, he's popular, but you know what he's also doing? He's impacting lives. And so you have to ask yourself, is that what I want to do with my life? That's the most important question. It's not whether I want to be the next Haaland or the next Messi or Ronaldo. Guess what? Messi's life is Messi's life. No matter how much you look like Messi, nobody's going to call you Messi. All right? They're going to call you the name that you were born with. And so the question is, are you willing to walk? Let me just take somebody's name. What's your name? Modade. Oh, wow, beautiful name. Wow. Do you know the meaning of your name? Yeah, you're God's crown. So tell me which one is better. I am God's crown. Or I am Messi. I'm not Messi. You're God's crown. And so each of us has to learn to bear our name. Bear our name. And be the best version of ourselves. Like if I go to the last slide, I don't know if I'll get to it, but my last slide was going to, not this one, but my last slide was going to be this. See, that's why golf is my favorite game. Because golf is not about who you win or how you win. It is about beating yourself every time. Becoming the best version of yourself. So, Laurie, you want us to take some questions? Yeah.
Okay, so for if you have any question, let me see your hand. Question. Okay, so where you have one, we have Daniel, another person again.
Yeah, Grandpa. Take a picture.
From the back, we have 23. And we have 4. Who else again? And you. Okay, 5.
5 questions.
5 questions.
So we'll do 5 questions, and then I'm going to run through like 4 slides. Yeah. Okay, 5 questions. All right.
So we'll start with number 1. So, Japhet.
Hello. So, what should we start doing now to prepare for our future careers?
What should we start doing now to prepare for our future careers? Wow, that's a great question. So, tech team, can you help me and jump to slides? Just keep going until you get to the next 90 days. There's a slide that called the next 90 days. Just keep going. There's more. Keep going, keep going. Yeah, okay. Go back to the next 90 days. All right. So the next 90 days, what should you do right now? Learn something, meet someone, try something, read something, serve someone, ask questions, pray, and start. Spend the next 90 days thinking about who you want to be, what you want to become. Then, if you skip back to one slide, skip forward. Sorry, skip forward. No, skip back until you get to the slide that says the 10-year question. Right? 10-year question, right? So this is for you. Imagine yourself 10 years from now, right? How old are you now?
I'm 13.
13. Okay, so in 10 years' time, you'll be 23, right? 23 thereabouts. What kind of person do you want to be at that age? You might not know the answer, but you can explore. What are you going to be known for? What skills would you want to develop? What books do you need to read? And where do you want your life to be? These are questions you can start exploring and looking at. So I think the starting point is setting yourself on a path to find out the answers. And being here today is part of that. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for the talk. My question is almost the opposite to what my friend asked. So instead of someone who thinks that doesn't have any gifts, what's your advice to someone who believes they have quite a few gifts and skills? So like I'll give my case. As far as like church is involved, in this church, they know me as a bassist, but I started as a drummer, play bass. Obviously, I've learned the keyboard as well. And then say, for example, sound. I know how to organize sound and then have other skills outside of church as well. So what advice would you give to someone that feels has quite a few skills?
So if you have quite a few skills, I'm going to try and answer the question in two parts, right? One part is about career. One is you have to know the difference between what is a passion and what feeds you, right? We can all do many things, but which one of these things that you're doing is going to be enough to feed you and sustain you? That's the first thing. Second thing is, if you're multi-talented, right, which one of these things that you're doing do you want to become an expert at, right? Because we can all be drummers, right? We can all be drummers, but there are levels in drumming. So, for example, let's say you want to be a very good drummer, you can go to a drum school and become there's some people that they drum, they're multimillionaires and all they do is drum, right? So that you can have a whole career in drumming. That's all you do, drummer. But you could also say, actually, drumming is a nice thing. I don't want to spend my life doing it, but I want to be able to know that every time I see a drum, I can jump on a drum and drum, right? So it doesn't limit you, but the question is, what do you want to be really, really good at? What do you want to allow to be the way you feed yourself, feed your family, feed your future? So, for example, I used to say that, oh, I'm not a best-selling book. I just like writing as a hobby. But then writing as a hobby then made it become one of my main lines now. So I write now for a living. And so it's really about discovering yourself. And actually, the fact that you're trying different things means that you're a discoverer. You like to discover different things. So don't stop discovering, but then think to yourself, what would I want to be known for? Right? Because we all should be known for something that we're very good at. And that means you are the top of your game in that. Does that make sense? Olu, do you want to add something? Because, yeah, young person.
I think the first thing that Dad said is probably the most important. And especially for you guys, a lot of careers that seem cool are like a shiny object, right? Being a streamer, it seems cool. Being a footballer, it seems cool. But a lot of us, the reality is we can't all, like Dad was saying, we can't all be messy. So at the end of the day, you need to have a plan for how will I sustain myself if that doesn't work out? Because that makes it more likely that it could work out. Because if your only plan is, I have to be messy, and then you fail, what do? Do you get what I'm saying? So feed yourself is an important aspect. Because once you have layer one, you can jump off into different layers. You can do different things in your life. That's my experience as well. I started out in photography. Now I'm in marketing. Before that, I had no idea what I was going to do. But you trust God and make sure that you've got your priorities in place.
All right. Thank you. I'll pay you later. All right. Question 3.
All right. Thank you, sir. I think the question is about AI.
Yeah.
Because now things are changing. Most of the things we learned 4 or 5 years ago is no longer relevant. A lot of things are changing very quickly. How does a young person make themselves relevant in the time of AI?
So can you go to, I'm just going to be jumping with my slides now. Go to the slide that says, what has God put inside of you, inside you? Yeah. So I'll start with this. I think you got it. Yeah. What has God put inside you? You may not know the answer yet. That's okay. Your job is to discover it, develop it, deploy it, and use it to serve others. I say that because those are the key factors of what helps people change, right? There are people in this room, I'm sure, that before you could use the internet before, you had to do something called dial-up. Do you know dial-up? Nobody in this room, apart from people who are older than a certain age, will know what dial-up is. Now, the reality of the matter is that in 10 years' time, what we think is normal today will not be normal. 2022, November, was the first time generative AI came out to the public world. How many years ago is that? Less than 4 years ago. And it has changed the whole world. You want my water? All right. All right. You see what I'm saying? So, first of all, let's not limit the question to AI, right? AI is important, but I can guarantee you there are people right now working on something that's greater than AI. Right now, there are. Like, while we are still getting excited about AI and we're jumping up and down, some people are working on something that is greater than AI. So what is important, your real question is, how do we manage change? How do we manage change? Because guaranteed what's going to happen, change is going to happen. It's going to happen. The person that is standing still does not recognize what's happening around them, right? You have to be a certain age to even remember what a tape is, let alone a CD or a floppy disk, right? Everything I just said is in my lifetime or since I moved to the UK. Those things were true, but they're not true anymore. So change will always happen. The question is, how do you find out what God put inside of you? How do you develop it? How do you discover it? How do you deploy it? That's how you manage change. Now, I've given you a 10,000-foot answer. Let me bring it down. The best way to handle change is, again, discover it, use it, deploy it, and don't be afraid of it. AI is not going to run away. It's here for a long time. And so the question is, how can I make AI work for me? Right? How can I make it work for me? Right? If you get to a stage in which, like, I invest in companies, and if you tell me that I have AI inside, I'll just laugh at you because I'm like, I expect you to have AI inside. It's not a prayer point. You should have AI inside. If you do not use AI at some point, then you're wasting your time. This morning, let me tell you what happened, right? Have you heard of Sono? Sono AI? Sono AI, right? This morning, my wife woke up. She had a song in her heart. The song is now available to download. In her voice. Abby, did I lie? So she woke up this morning. She had a song. What's the song again? Sing it for us. Let me help you. Let me help you. What I want for Christmas is goat meat. What I want for Christmas is suya. Something like that, right? But she just woke up with that idea. And before I left the house this morning, that song, you can actually, Lori, what we'll do is, Kumbi, you will give the link to the song to Lori, and then Lori can share it with whoever wants to know. But that song was written this morning, conceived this morning, written this morning, deployed this morning. Using AI. And so that's the world we're in. Now think about that. Back then, you write the song down, you would type it, you go into a room, you will record it, then somebody will try and do the piano before it. Yeah. So change is happening. And it's our ability to adapt to change that helps us prepare. Question 4.
I just wanted to ask, so at what point do you think like work experience is more valuable than further education? So I'm going into my last year of university and I'm trying to figure out if doing a master's is something I should prioritize over seeing if I should find some entry level work and just start from there.
So if I was answering this question outside of church, I would take a different approach. But because I'm in church, I would take a different approach. First approach is, what is God saying to you? Right? So you don't have to answer, but that's where I would start. Like, I would start with, what is God saying to you? Because the human answer, you don't have to stand, you can sit. The human answer is, what is the market saying? What is the opportunity available? And then base your decision on that. But that could be a wrong answer, because if that's not where God is leading you to. You heard the story of the lady, right? If you were here earlier, she did a first degree, then she went back to university, did a second degree, and guess what? It's a second degree that's actually helping her, right? I did civil engineering. Am I working as a civil engineer today? No. And so I think we've all agreed, I think the world has agreed now that going to university is not just about the degree, it's about the experience and what you learn along the way. Now, that's why I said, because we're in church, I will start with, what is God asking you to do? Because God might already know you going to do your master's will be the opportunity that opens the door for you. Or you going to do a work experience will be the opportunity that opens for you. Now, the reality is that in the world we live in, 2026, either of those routes could work. But what is interesting is, what's your name? Pardon? Nifemi. The real question is not what is the right path. The real question is, what is the right path for Nifemi? Because two people can go down the same path and get two different answers. So the real question we want to be asking, praying into, asking God for wisdom is, what's the right path for you? And that's actually harder than what's the right path. Because the truth of the matter, you can use either path, it will get you to the same answer eventually, because God works all things together for good. But I would say, as a Christian, you want to do the hard work of asking God, what's the right path for me? And then commit to it. Because when you commit to it, guess what happens? Doors open to you that are unexpected, right? And I can tell you story after story after story to confirm that. But I think to answer your question, it's really about, what is God's intention for you? What is God's direction for you? The Bible says that we should not look at the wind before we sow. We should just sow, because we don't know which one is going to be the ultimate open door for you. Okay. Question 5.
If you could give one good advice for every young person you know, what it would be?
If I could give good advice to every young person, wow, that one is a big one. Oh, that one is a big one. I'm just trying to see if I think I have a slide for that. Sorry. The reason I'm just going to use my slide so that we can at least, yeah, this is what I would say. Go to slide that says, don't live a small life. Yeah. So, what's your question? What's your name again? Oh, you said it. Pardon? Modade. Yes, you told me, because I was really Modade. All right. So, Modade, here's my advice. Don't live a small life. You don't have to become famous. Honestly, you don't even have to become rich. You don't have to follow someone else's definition of success. But you should aim to become the best version of who God created you to be. Be the best version of yourself. The best version of your thinking. You know, the problem with AI, let me just add it to everybody else. The problem with AI is that the more we use it, the more everybody's posters look the same now. The more we use it, in fact, by the time you see that, that's Claude. That one is Gemini. Because everything stays the same, because we are all copying each other. So what is important is for you to be the best version of who God has made you to be. You know what, something? Like, this is not a biology class, but your DNA is not the same as the person next to you. Your DNA is unique. Why would God go into the trouble of making your DNA unique? It's because there's something unique about you, about you, and about you, and about you. And so, why would I just then spend my whole life trying to be somebody else when I can be who God made me to be? So, let's become the best versions of ourselves. All right? So, just help me out. Go to keep going. Oh, I thought we said 5 questions. Okay. Yeah.
My contribution is this. I'll just, on behalf of we the women, thank you, sir, for coming. But I would just like to admonish our children that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the fear of God, it takes you far in life, and a man's gift maketh way for him. The gift God has put in you, wherever you find yourself, there's something called seasons and times. You might be in a season now that you think you're confused, but when the light of God shines upon your heart, how do you get that light? With the fear of God. Look at Joseph. Joseph was in the prison. Nobody knew Joseph's father. But in one day, Joseph became a prime minister in a foreign land. Look at Esther. Her uncle was just a gatekeeper in the palace. But in one day, the king was seeking for a queen, and Esther became a queen and changed the course of the entire Israelites. You guys can be the change that you want to be, just like the theme of your program. All you need is the fear of God. Focus on God. God takes you farther than you think you can go in life. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Team, can you please go to one last question? It's like the second to last slide. It's called one last question. I can make this slide of it, or you have the slide anyway. So, okay. Here is my last thing, right? Why are you moving that way? Is there another question? Okay. One last question. I need your participation and your help here. If you knew you could not fail, what would you attempt to do? Anybody want to shout out? If you knew that you can't fail, what would you do? Yeah. Pardon? Try all the jobs I've ever wanted to do. Yes, ma'am. Pardon? I didn't hear you properly. Find the cure to cancer. What are you studying now? Yeah. Okay. Were you doing biology? Are you doing chemistry? Okay. So maybe that's part of what you want to do, right? I'm not prophesying, right? If I'm prophesying, I'll tell you I'm prophesying. But right now I'm not prophesying. I'm just saying that I asked you a question. If you knew that failure was not an option, what would you attempt to do? And you said you'll find the cure for cancer. Probably, we heard it, but I don't think we heard it. She said she would try and find the cure for cancer. Please give her a round of applause. Anybody else want to say something? Yes?
You start a business.
You start a business. What kind of business?
Maybe a risky one that you have to invest a lot of.
Pardon?
Maybe a business that you have to invest a lot of money.
You have to invest a lot of money into. Who's going to invest? Your mom? Your nephew? Okay, all right. Okay, good. Anybody? I'll take one more and then I'll end. Look, I don't think you understand the capacity of what I'm asking you. If you knew that failure was not an option, like no matter what you attempt, it will work, what would you do? Yeah? I'm just trying to open up your imagination, help you think out loud, prophesy over yourself.
Homelessness.
You'll solve homelessness.
Yeah.
All right. He will solve homelessness. One last. Oh, is your hand up? No, he's not. He's talking. All right. Maybe you're too shy to answer the question. But, yes? Put your hand up.
I would do something very, very hard.
You do something very, very hard. Okay, clap for him. It doesn't matter. He's making a commitment that he wants to work hard. All right? He will do something very, very hard. Yes?
I'll help people achieve their goals.
You'll help people achieve their goals. There's a name for that. It's called a coach. Right? You can become a coach. Doesn't have to be the first thing you do, but it can be one of the things that you do. I'll take one last one. You move from here to there.
I'll do the lottery.
You do the lottery. Well, he's going on the view that whatever he does, he cannot fail. So he will just win the lottery. Now, Olga, when you have now won the lottery, what are you going to do with it?
I don't know.
You don't know. All right. I like your imagination, though. All right. So, back to my slides as I bring this to a close. If you knew you could do something without failing, what would you attempt? Now, here's the real question. What is stopping you from taking the first step? Do you have access to ChatGPT or something? Right? So why don't you start a conversation with ChatGPT and say, if I wanted to cure cancer, what do I need to do? Pardon? Pardon? Oh, there's no cure for cancer right now. There's some cures for some types of cancer, but not all cancer. But I'm just saying that it's very easy to imagine, but the hardest thing is to take the first step. First step, which is, let me find out about this thing that I'm really intrigued about. Let me take the first step on my journey to see what it's going to look like. And then I would do you a complete injustice if I don't talk to you about failure. All right? So, and then I'll stop. Like I said, I can talk for a long. Go to Failure is Data. Just go back. It's a slide called Failure is Data. The lady that wants to cure cancer. What's your name again? Cure cancer. Fade. I'm going to give you a book. One of my books. It's called Nigeria is Not Late. The reason why I'm giving it to you, two reasons. One, you see, this is why observation is important. Number one, I asked, does people like reading? You're the first person to put that hand up. So I already marked you in my head that I was going to give you something. The second reason is that you want to attempt to do something, even if you don't do it. The fact that you're thinking about it, I want to encourage you on that journey because we need a cure for cancer. And Nigeria is not late to be part of this direction. So come and take this. And the guy who asked probably the most honest question, which was, what if I don't have any talent? Where are you? Okay, I'm going to give you a book. I'm giving you the book for your honesty. And I pray that even as I give this book to you, vision will be born in you. Desire will be born in you. And you will bear the reality of your cap that says God is good all the time. All right. So, I wanted us to go to this slide, right? And mostly because I don't want us to finish and think that everything is going to be rosy, right? Failure happens, right? I was in my dream job. I was enjoying my life. I was in Germany working for the best company I was being paid the most I've ever been paid. And then one day they fired me. Not because of something I did, but because my boss didn't like me. So I failed in that sense. But you should never allow failure to be the end point. Don't waste failure. You fall down, you get up. What happened? What did you learn from it? What will you now do differently because of it? Who can help you? And what's your next move? Failure is an event. It's not a label. It does not make you who you are to become. So it does not have to become your identity. Do not go by the label "I failed," because it's not your label. It's just an event that happened on your journey, and the quicker you recover from it, the better you will become. Anybody who's played football knows that it's not the first time you shoot a goal that you score. But does that stop you? No. You keep doing it until you get better at it. And so, with those final notes, I will hand over the mic to Laurie, who is trying to carry my grandson.
Let's do a round of applause for Daddy. A round of applause, a round of applause, a round of applause. Hallelujah. I hope we were blessed. I'm sure there was a lot of information that was being shared across to us. And one thing I want to quickly say that I'm sure I did not mention, you could see all those books. You can't be a leader if you're not a reader. Did you hear that? You can't be what? A leader if you're not a reader. To really share something, let's come in that day. Our next pastor. I wish I could show you a video of Pastor when he shared me. I wish I could even show it, but it might be too late. He could read like over like 8 books at a go. 8 books concurrently. So as he's reading one, he has another book that he's reading, he has another book that he's reading. And I'm like, sir, when do you even have time to even do other things? Sometimes he's in the restroom, he's carrying his book and he's reading. Mommy can testify. Are you seeing now? So a round of applause for that, you know. So if at his age he's still reading, what's our excuse? You want to solve cancer? What books are you reading along that line? So these are the things I want us to start learning, that you need to start reading and exposing your mind, becoming the best version of who you are now. Don't wait to when the next 90 days to the next 2. What are you going to start doing now? And for me, it's part of the things I'm learning to becoming the best version of myself. I wish I knew this years ago. I've never been in this kind of setting my life while growing up. Never. If I probably had it, maybe I would also make better decisions. But it's not too late. I can always make better decisions. So that's just a good thing. Failure is just an event. It's not the final ultimatum. So I just want us to quickly just take note of that, and the Lord will bless us in Jesus' name. Amen. So we've come to the end of this session. We are going to be moving on to the next session, but we'll have a lunch break. Is that correct? Yeah, good. So we'll just quickly have lunch. I don't know where the. Do you want to say something? Okay, so.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Okay, so for the lunch and refreshments, for the adults, we're going to bring your refreshments to you. So first, we're starting from children aged 13 and below. The ushers will guide you to where you're going to get the food and in the teens church. So you need to line up and get your food. Then after that, when they come back, then we'll now have the teens go. So 13 and below, please. Everyone else that if you're not 13 and below, please stay on your seat. So 13 and below, please line up and get your refreshments. Please remain orderly in the queue, please. Thank you. 13 and below. Ushers, please help me check. Ushers, please help me check if they're 13 and below, please. Who told you? No, after the games, after everything. I literally told you after the games. I said the order should have Japheth. Check the order of order to Japheth. Okay? Check it. At the end of all the games, after the That's why I said you should point to specific people.